Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and Steve Shanley from the Municipal Band is back. Recently, at the time of our taping, profiled in the Cedar Rapids Gazette with a very nice article, not only about what you do with the municipal band, but also about different aspects of the municipal band that that unless somebody is really on the ground with it, may not be aware.
Yeah, it was a wonderful profile by Diana Nolan, and feel lucky to have her in the community writing about the arts. And she'll be the first to tell you, she does not just always say happy, glowing things about every last thing that she attends. So I think she has the absolute perfect blend of being realistic while also championing, the good things that are going on in our city. And yeah, I think the Gazette, we're lucky to have a newspaper in a town our size that is still flourishing as well as the Gazette is, and grateful that they're willing to dedicate print and online space to the fine arts still.
Coincident, or not so coincident, who knows? There was also a history column that Rob Klein and his daughter Jess wrote about the Frank Piersol years with the band.
Yeah, that I didn't expect that to run in exactly the same edition.
It was kind of the All-Muni Band edition of the paper.
It was, I guess if you go many years with 0% of the Gazette coverage for the municipal band, that it's okay if we had a disproportionate percentage for one day, and great timing for that right in the middle of the summer. And it was nice. It landed on a beautiful day, and we had a gigantic crowd at Ellis Park that night. I'm sure due in no small part to the publicity of the Gazette, both that profile on the band and me, and then also, Rob's wonderful piece on Frank Piersol, who was the third permanent conductor of the municipal band. I'm the fourth.
So before we get talking about this week's concert, one of the things that you talked about in that article, and that was also a part of the other piece, and we've talked about it a little bit, but you took on the project of making sure that Frank Piersol's marches got recorded. Tell me how that project came together.
Originally, it started because when I first started conducting the band and was picking repertoire, I was very dependent on being able to find reference recordings of what everything sounded like, so I could hear something before I programmed it to know, well, is the audience going to like this? Are we going to be able to play it? Does it fit in with the overall program for the week? And one thing I had discovered was that there are not very many recordings of Frank's marches, and certainly not very many good recordings of his marches. And I thought, what better group to tackle that project than the Cedar Rapids Municipal Band? So I waited a few years. I had started with the band in 2011 and waited until about 2016 to really undertake the recording process for that. But definitely trying to serve the public good by providing some high quality recordings of those marches. And then more importantly, just bringing an awareness to people that they exist. I think when a band director goes to program something for their concert and they maybe want to include a march, they think, well, Carl King or John Philip Sousa.
John Philip Sousa is the go-to for just about everybody. Yeah. Carl King, the go-to if you're from Iowa.
Certainly in Iowa, but although, don't discount him. He's pretty well-known nationwide. And then you get into your, Henry Fillmores, who are, for people like me, very well known, but a little more off the beaten path. And unfortunately, I think if a band director is only going to program one or two marches per year, they might not make it to consider one of Frank's marches. So my hope is just having a nice recording of it out there, that there will be more people who hear that and think, oh, yes, we could definitely dedicate one slot in the concert to that. And it's already happened. When we have people either attend our concerts or maybe I go conduct an honor band and they hear those marches and they say, I had no idea that there were those marches. I'd like to play those with my band. So just hoping to spread the good word about Frank's efforts as a composer.
You all had to get the band together then, because you did. These aren't like field recordings done at a concert. You guys went into the studio, yeah?
We did. The studios being the Prairie High School auditorium stage and the Linn-Mar High School auditorium stage.
Well, the Corridor Jazz Project happens in a space that is not technically a recording studio either. So.
And these days, with the technology, any place with decent acoustics can become a studio, as you know. So, yeah, we leading up to the 2016 and 2017 seasons, I programmed those 8 or 9 marches very regularly with the bands, so the band knew them pretty well. But I knew to get good recordings that would be worthy of releasing, we would need multiple takes. We would need no audience noise, no birds, no dogs. So we did have to hire the musicians to come in for separate sessions, and we did that throughout the summer in 2016 and 2017.
Now, are those out someplace where I can just go listen to them if I'm so inclined?
They are. This project forced me to force someone else, Justin Comer, to create a YouTube channel for the Cedar Rapids Municipal Band, which we had just never gotten around to doing. And over the years, I thought there are some things that we maybe perform at concerts here and there that would be nice to have up on that YouTube channel, but I just never really had the motivation for it. And as we finished the project and got it all mastered. Oh, shout out to Paul Solomon, by the way, who did all of the recording and the mastering of everything and did just a wonderful job with it. As that finished up and we were thinking about how to distribute it, it became pretty clear CDs aren't going to be a real economical way to do it anymore. And yes, if I remember about 10 years ago when I started doing these culture crawls, this particular room was full of CDs, and now I see about 12.
Although we still have plenty in the other room.
Yes,
we haven't gotten rid of them all.
So no CDs. And then as we were thinking, like, well, maybe eventually we look into some of the streaming services and whatnot. But at the moment, YouTube just sort of seems to be the one-stop place for everybody. And since we are not monetizing it or worried about making money on it, we thought that would be the place to dump it. So check it out on the Cedar Rapids Municipal Band YouTube channel. We've got the 8 tracks that the municipal band did. And then we thought, and I think this may have been Paul Solomon's idea, it's been a while now, he thought that because Frank was a product of public schools in Iowa himself and taught high school before teaching college, that it would be a cool thing to have students involved. And Paul also knew that one of my things when I took over from Morgan Jones for the municipal band was really increasing the involvement of area high school musicians in our concerts. And one of those things was combining with a few other directors to start a Cedar Rapids Metro Youth Wind Ensemble. The thinking being we have all of these amazing high school musicians every single year here, and we should have an honor band that showcases them. So usually the first week of our season, we showcase that particular band. Jared Wacker has been running that group for years and does an outstanding job with it. And I think it was Paul who said maybe we could have the high school group play one of Frank's marches. So asked Jared to do that, and he agreed, and that track turned out wonderful as well. That's on there too. So 8 from the municipal band on the YouTube page and 1 from the Cedar Rapids Metro Youth Wind Ensemble.
Well, it's been some years since you've done that, but nice to kind of circle back and give it some extra attention, especially here now.
Yeah, it kind of felt like my getting my doctorate done, where I had gotten all of the coursework done and most of the heavy lifting, passed my comprehensive exams, and then I just kind of needed to finish that last big paper. And I just kind of didn't do it. And I just kind of kept putting it off to the point where one day it just got embarrassing how long I had been putting it off. And that was kind of the case with this project too. Like I want the fun part for me was the recording them, the planning it, but then I didn't really want to get in there and start listening to everything and editing and mixing and figuring all of this stuff out. But I thought, it's going to be embarrassing if we go 10 years from having recorded it before releasing it. So I got motivated this last year to get that done.
Well, and that brings us to this week's concert. There are some concerts this week, and it's a big week because this is the Patriotic Show week. And I'm guessing that this is for you, Steve, kind of like programming the holiday show at Christmas time, because Hankowich and I always have that conversation about, how do you give people what they're expecting, but also, try and, keep it fresh and put a different spin on it. So what's the plan for this week?
This year, the plan is play the hits as usual. So we will have the material that our audiences have come to expect with the Armed Forces Salute, the Stars and Stripes Forever, and so forth. We have the Cedar Rapids Concert Chorale with Jerry Kreitzer joining us on America the Beautiful and the Battle Hymn of the Republic. I think America the Beautiful, that one is pretty popular. A lot of people are pretty used to hearing that one. That one works instrumentally. It works even if you do not have a singer. So we program that one every single year. The Battle Hymn of the Republic, the famous arrangement, really needs a choir for that to work.
Yeah, that, I still remember singing that arrangement in high school, and whenever I hear that song, oh, yep, that's the same arrangement. I could still recognize it, almost 50 years gone.
It's wonderful, and we have only performed it, I think, once since I have been the conductor, and I don't recall it happening the 10 or 15 years prior to me conducting either, because you need a good big choir to sing along with it. So that's kind of the new thing that our audiences probably have not heard before. We also, my little treat to the musicians this week is American composer Samuel Barber and the Commando March, which is a short march and very much a march, but also very much Barber and very original and cool. And I don't think a lot of the musicians have performed that. So they're going to enjoy that one as well. It's been a while since we have done the Glenn Miller in the Miller Mood arrangement. So that's a good 10 or 11 minutes of basically any Glenn Miller song you can think of. We'll have that in the arrangement. And then kind of a lesser-known Sousa march called the National Game, which he wrote as a dedication to baseball. And I decided to program, that's going to open our concert as my sort of thank you to baseball for instituting the pitch clock and making the games a little bit shorter. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but my wife very much enjoys baseball, and so I will usually go to the games with her, because she does a lot of things that she probably doesn't enjoy as much with me. And so baseball games, I am very grateful now, will maybe be a little bit less of a time investment for me. So thanks, Major League Baseball. I'm going to give you a shout out with the National Game from Sousa this week.
And the normal schedule?
Normal schedule. So Wednesday at 7:30 at Guthridge Park in Hiawatha, which is kind of where we have landed the last few years on this week, and it's been a great venue for that. I think if you're looking to avoid big crowds, you want easy parking, the Guthridge Park concert on Wednesday is a great one. And then Sunday, the exact same concert program will be at Beaver Park at 7:30 as well. And you can get all the up to the minute, I should say, weather cancellation information. Go to our Facebook for that. That's going to be the best way to get that information, and also our website gets updated pretty regularly as well, and that's crmuniband.org.
All right. Well, looking forward to this week's Muni Band concerts as well. Of course, we'll be in Iowa City this weekend as the Iowa City Jazz Festival cranks up, and you're directing the North Quarter All-Stars this year.
Yes, good combo of students from the Cedar Falls, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids areas, and looking forward to hearing them. I have been kind of doing what I usually do with the small incarnation of this group, which is try to let it be as student-run as possible.
Right. You pretty much just unlock the door for them and let them do everything else.
I unlock the door, and then if I notice that they are definitely veering into oncoming traffic, I might grab the steering wheel here or there. But no, for the most part, they're picking the repertoire and the set list and speaking to the audience and all that stuff.
And Vivian's playing with the Iowa Women's Jazz Orchestra.
Yep, daughter Vivian is getting more work than I am this summer, which is exactly what you hope for as a dad. So, yep, she's playing on the main stage on Friday night with the Iowa Women's Jazz Orchestra and Ingrid Jensen. So I'm excited to hear that as well.
Well, a busy week.
Busy week. Oh, I should say also I am playing on Saturday night on the side stage. I think it's at 7 o'clock.
Is that with Dreyer's group?
With Jim Dreyer's Ritmo Quinto.
Which is with kind of a new, well, is it new or is it just the stuff he's done with Ritmo Kano reorchestrated for a smaller group?
Jim has had small group Latin jazz happening in his life for a while, and it is constantly evolving depending on either the musicians that he wants to work with, the exact tunes that he would like to play, and that sort of thing. So this is just sort of the most recent in Jim's multi-decade evolution of putting together Latin jazz groups, and I'm glad he keeps asking me.
Well, I think we've got your week set.
Yes, it's going to be a good, busy week.
Muni Band on Wednesday and Sunday, and Iowa City Jazz Festival this weekend. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30 or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or using your favorite podcast app. Our videos up on the KCCK YouTube or Facebook channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. I'm Dennis Green. I'll talk to you later.